Hey everyone, so I'm back with another live, and in this live, I'm going to be talking about the guys that I chose, and yeah, just how toxic my relationship was, you know. So I'm going to start with talking about what I'm sorry, wasn't that? I'm gonna start with talking about that. So, um, hold on. Okay, yeah. So I'm still talking about the guys that I dealt with and chose and stuff like that. And just you know what, since I've been doing this, talking about sharing my story and stuff like that, I it's like I'm reliving those thoughts, those emotions that I was going through back then, and it's been difficult, you know. But I know somebody needs to hear this, and my life, how I lived my life was not for me to keep to myself, you know, and I want to help people. So this is the whole reason why I'm doing this. And not only that, just to put myself, again, to put myself out there because I have a book coming out, and I think I said I was going to have it come out this year, but I think I'm going to wait till after the holidays to do it. So I'm probably going to have it come out like after New Year's or whatever. But anyway, so I don't want to ramble too much. So let's hop right into it. Okay, so as you guys know, like I talked about in the past, um, I was affected by trauma, you know, growing up, and it shaped me who I became. It shaped my the way that I thought and everything. So, um, yeah, I lived my life through through a distorted view, you know. So fast forward, I'm a fast forward to like after high school. I'm out of high school now. You know, at this point, I'm not running away anymore. You know, I'm like 18, 18 years old and stuff like that. And I, so I've experienced the molestation, like I said. So I was thinking sexual since a toddler, thinking sexual. Self-esteem was low because I was teased and bullied, you know, called ugly, whatever. Teased and bullied. I really didn't stand up for myself. I didn't stand up for myself at all. I just kind of let people do whatever. And then when I started running away, due to the me and my mom bumping heads and not really getting along, and she's not understanding why I'm doing what I'm doing because I'm not telling her the stuff that I'm going through mentally, right? So I started running away, and then as a result of me running away, I will end up in bad situations to where I would get raped so many times, like raped over and 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 over again. I even got gang raped too. So now, after all this has happened now, and I'm like, okay, now I'm at the house, I'm at home, but now I'm just running the streets. Running the streets at this time, I'm like 18, 19 around that time. I'm not really thinking about no relationship or trying to be with a guy like that in that way. I'll just, like I said, I wanted to play the game that men play. So, you know, I would meet guys, and we would have sex or whatever, and then I just wouldn't call them no more. I would just try to, do it like that. And guys used to, you know, some of the guys used to hit me up like, dang, like you making me feel like I'm the woman, you know what I'm saying? The way you get down or whatever. But I just felt like I had to operate in that way. So, because I had, like I said, I had developed fake tough skin, because I was bullied so much. So I had this nonchalant, bad attitude, and that I didn't care about nothing. So that's how I operated. I really didn't care. And again, my dad wasn't in my life. So, I never had a relationship with him. So I always wanted to see what it was like for a man to love me. But at this point in my life, I wanted that, but at this point in my life, I'm so sexualized that that's all I'm thinking about. Like, you know how they say men use their you know what to think? That was me. I use my you know what to think, and the type of men that I was attracted to, oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. Like, the only type of dudes I wanted to talk to was guys that sag their pants. Like if you wasn't sagging your pants, I did not want to talk to you. Um, you had to be a thug, a gangster, some a bad boy. That's what I liked it. You know what I mean? Anything outside of that, I just did not want to talk to you. And so I would just pick these dudes that was just as toxic, and so I would only deal with them type of dudes, and will be caught up in bad situations and stuff like that. And, he had to be fine with swag and all that stuff. And that don't mean nothing. Now that I'm older and stuff like that, and I'll be looking at some of these guys with their pants sagging, they drawers all out. All you see is they drawers. I'll be like, I can't believe I was attracted to them type of dudes. Like that's all who I wanted to talk to was them type of guys. But anyway, so my mom would talk to me about the type of guys that I should, deal with. I remember one time that's when the USC had the movie theater. USC Village had a movie theater before they remodeled it and changed it up. They had a movie theater, whatever. So me and my mom and my brother used to go to the movies. She used to take us to the movies over there and stuff like that. And I remember one time she was talking to me, talking to me about the type of guys I should talk to, and she was talking to my brother about the type of women that he should talk to. So it was these two boys with these two girls. They was walking, and the boy had his pants sagging. One of the boys had his pants sagging, and that boy was fine. And my mom was like, "See that kind of guy right there. You don't want to talk to no type of dude." And in my mind, I'm thinking like, "Why not? He fine." But now that I'm much older, I understand. But see, I was looking through life through a distorted view. I couldn't see my worth, so I didn't know my worth, didn't see my worth, didn't have no really self worth at the time because I'm broken. Um, so fast forward. So I had met this guy. I used to hang out in a certain location. I'm not gonna say. I used to hang out, and there used to be a group of us hanging out over there. And I had met this guy over there, and uh, I had met him that day. I had went with him to his house that night, and he treated me so nice. Oh my goodness, he treated me so nice. Like, and I ended up spending the night with him, and then the next day I asked him when I was gonna see him again, and that's where I messed up. I shouldn't. So he knew, like, okay, yeah, I got her. So me and him somehow or another got into a relationship, and this is the ex boyfriend I tell you that tried to kill me. So me and him got into a relationship. Um, I was so in love with him, so I thought. And then we talked about us living together, whatever. Because at the time, he, I think his mom was like the manager of the apartment building, and like they had like a bachelor type of apartment, like under his mom or whatever. So we ended up moving up in there. So I told my mom I was gonna move live with him or whatever. So my mom had took me over there to the boy house, whatever. She was not happy about it, but she took me over there to the boy house, and he was talking to her, basically telling my mom what he was gonna do to me. And my mom was telling me, she was like, man, she was like, he's gonna eventually put you out on the street, like basically pimp me. And I was like, mom, he's not talking about me. He's talking about, he ain't talking about me, whatever, whatever. So I just didn't believe it. So she was like, okay, whatever. So the day that I moved in, it was cool the first day. The second the second day or third day, whatever, I think within that first week, his brother had happened to come and he wasn't there. He had left. So I'm upstairs with his mom at his mom's house, and his brother happened to come through. His brother came over. So I'm sitting in the living room watching TV, doing what I do, and my dude at the time, he was gone. So he happened to come back and see his brother was there and his mom was there, and I'm sitting there watching TV, right? So he comes in the house with an attitude. He's looking at me with an attitude. Then he goes downstairs to the place that we was living at. So I go down there, whatever, and he's got an attitude, and I'm just like, "What's wrong with you? Like, why are you acting like that?" I'm not knowing why he's mad. I'm like, "Why are you acting like that? Why do you have an attitude?" And he was like, "Man, what you was doing with my brother?" He would always accuse me of cheating on him and with his brother and all that stuff. And I'm like, nothing. I was sitting there watching TV. Like I wasn't, dealing with your brother, whatever. So then I remember asking him. I said, "So you think I'm messing with your brother? You think I'm screwing your brother?" And he slapped me. He slapped like the taste out of my mouth. He slapped me so hard, and I was shocked because wasn't expecting that. So he slapped me, and I don't remember what he said to me, but that's when the abuse started. So he was always like saying that I was cheating on him or whatever, and stuff like that. And at this time, I was going to adult school because I was trying to get my GED. Because, like I said, I had dropped out of high school the second semester of 12th grade. I dropped out because I couldn't handle the bullying that I was receiving, and people was talking about me. I just couldn't handle it, so I ended up dropping out. So now at this point, I'm going back to high. I mean, I'm going to adult school, and he didn't even want me to do that. And so this one particular, so like I said, he was very abusive, whatever. I just endured, him hitting me. He would also like bring other women over and have sex with them, and what I'm saying, it was just a lot. I was dealing with, like, he really was like an abusive guy, whatever. So uh one day I had went to school. I had went to no, uh he prevented me from going to adult school that day, this particular day. And he was threatening, telling me he's gonna kill my mom. He's gonna kill my stepdad at the time. My mom was married to. He was gonna kill him. No, he said he was gonna tie my mom up. He's gonna kill my stepdad, and I was gonna walk out of school one day, and my brother's arm was gonna be laid down on the ground. And so I'm just like, so I'm crying, I'm hysterical, and now mind you, at this point I'm terrified of him because he was very abusive, whatever. And so, and at this time he had brought another chick over, so he had both of us, in his house or whatever, and he was like, being nice to her, whatever, and treat me like crap. And now at this point, I'm just like, I'm terrified. So I didn't. So this particular day, I didn't go to school because he wouldn't let me go, and my mom knew something wasn't right. She knew something wasn't right. So she popped up because I'm scared. Like now at this point, I want to leave, but I'm scared too. I don't know how to, whatever. So my mom happens to pop up to see what's going on because she said that she felt like her gut was saying something ain't right. So she came to my house. She came to where we was living at, whatever. And then he was like, "Oh, your mom is here." So I go outside. I go outside. My face is like puffy. My eyes are red from crying. And my mom was like, "Are you high?" And I'm like, "No." And then she's like, "Tony, what happened? Like, tell me what happened." So I proceeded to tell her like everything that he said. And now, mind you, I forgot about this. He also had bought a gun. He had a 357. I'm back to a little bit. He had a 357 gun that he had bought that he was so excited, and he only had two bullets for that gun. And he used to make me carry that thing everywhere, like, and would tell me, I'm so naive. Again, I'm not street smart. I don't know nothing. He would tell me like, "Oh, well, if you get caught with you carry the weapon, because if you get caught with it, you only gonna do like 3 days because you ain't got no record." Not knowing that wasn't the truth. So he would make me carry it everywhere we went, and he would try to think of places to, you know, rob and stuff like that. And I would just be sitting there looking at him, and he used to get mad because I wouldn't help him think of a place, you know, to try to, whatever. So I'm sitting here thinking about places where he can try to, go hit a lick or whatever like that. And he was just really, really crazy, really, really crazy. And so when he had got with the other girl, he brought the other girl in. She bought him some bullets, so he had like a case of bullets or whatever. And so he had one day, because he was mad at me about his brother again, and he had picked. I was in the bed. I was laying down on the bed. I was crying. I was like, "No, I never talked to him. I never messed with him, and nothing like that." I'm crying. I'm hysterical. So he picks up the gun and he put the bullets in the gun, right? And he's pointed at me because like I'm like, let me see, I am okay. So he's right here sitting down, right, and I'm like this close, this about this far from him, and I'm sitting on the bed like this, and he's sitting in the chair like that, facing me, talking to me, whatever. So he picks up the gun and he points the gun at me. He points it at me, and then he started pulling the trigger. I could see the revolver moving. He started pulling the trigger. I laid my head on the bed like this. I turned my back, laid my head on the bed like this, and I started crying. I started praying like, Lord, please bless that this guy do not kill me. I'm crying, 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 crying to God. And so I don't know how I don't remember how I could see that he's looking at the gun and he's confused because the bullets are not coming out. The bullets would not come out, and he's looking like, what the heck? And so when it wouldn't like when the bullet jammed and he just gave up. So when I got up and then he was like, you know what I tried to he said, you know what, you know what I tried to do to you, right? And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, I was trying to kill you. And so that day, like God, like literally saved my life, because he was trying to. But anyway, so fast forward. So my mom, um, she came or whatever. I told her what happened or whatever, and then she was like, "Oh no, you coming with me." So I was like, "Mom, but all my stuff," and I was like scared because I didn't know what to do. So she's like, "No, you coming with me? Coming with me." So she took me to the house. And then at this time, she thought it was best that I stay at my auntie house because he knew where I lived at. So I stayed with my auntie for a little bit, and then she was like, "Okay, Tony, if you want to go back over there and get your clothes, you need to, we need to have the police escort us over there so you can get your stuff." And so at this time, I'm like, man, I ain't trying to do all that. I don't want to get the police involved now, So I was thinking about just leaving all my stuff there and just forgetting about it or whatever. But I got to thinking about my clothes and some of the clothes I had over there I really liked. So I'm like, okay, no, 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 we gonna have to do that. So uh, we met the police officers down the street from his house or whatever. So I'm telling the police officers everything about him threatening my life, threatening my family life, how abusive he was, and how how what he said if he ever seen the police around his house, what he was gonna do and all that stuff like that. So they write all this information down or whatever. And so we go over there, and the police, we walking up to the thing. Now I'm telling you, I'm terrified. So I just started crying so loud, and the police like, man, get her away from here, because she gonna get us killed or whatever. So my mom was like, calm down, but I'm so scared. So just so happened he's not there though, right? So as we walking up towards the front, my mom was like, "There he go right there," because he had just bought him a new car. He with his new girlfriend and uh, one of his homeboys and his girl in the back seat. My mom was like, "There he go right there." So the police, ran to the car. They chased him, and to my understanding, he was it was like a high speed chase, and it was on the news or whatever. So they ended up getting him. He got arrested, whatever. I had to go to court and testify against him or whatever. And I remember when I was going, I was so scared to even walk past him to even go to the witness stand. To go to the witness stand, I was so terrified because that's how much I was scared of him or whatever. And they said like, no, he's chained down, like he's chained. He can't. His legs is chained. His arms is chained. He can't do. He can't get up. He can't. Or whatever. So I dealt with that. And this is crazy. This is the crazy part too. When I had went to testify, his sister and his mom was there, and his sister told me, she was like, you should go ahead and drop the charges. You still love him, and he loves you too. He wants you to write him and stuff like that. She was telling me that, and my mom told me, she was like, if you write him, you a fool. That's exactly what she said. And it's funny because it's not funny. It's sad. It's sad because I actually thought about writing him and, you know, maybe dropping the charges and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And that's how worthless I felt, or worthless I seen myself as the kind of guys that I associated with. And it seemed like the devil wanted to use these guys to wipe me out, you know. And it was times that he tried to, like with him, he tried to use him, but you know, God intervened on that. And then this other guy, this other guy that I had known him before, and I don't know if you guys ever heard of familiar spirits. Um, you know how you meet somebody and you be like, man, I feel like I met you before. You know, that's a person with a familiar spirit. So this guy that, I'm not really going in order, okay, but I'm just telling you stories of different guys that I dealt with. So this one guy, I used to mess around with him like back in the day or whatever. And I had ran into him after I had a son and everything like that. My son was small, was, you know, yeah, he was still in elementary school or whatever. And I had heard that he had died, that he had got killed in prison or whatever. And anyway, so one day I'm walking, and funny thing about it, this day I had made up in my mind, you know what? I'm just gonna focus on my relationship with God and myself, and I'm not gonna even be worried about no dudes right now, you know. And to the day that I say that, um I'm going to the Slauson Swap meet. Now, mind you, I had caught the bus to the Slauson Swap meet because I used to didn't like driving, you know. I still don't like driving. So I had caught the bus to the Slauson Swap meet, and I'm walking, and it's this guy that's walking. I'm walking towards the swap meet, and this guy is walking away from the swap meet. So we walking like this, but he's looking at me. His eyes is like, look behind you, look behind, but he's not saying like, hey. But the way that he's looking, I'm reading his face like, oh. So I turn around, and I see the guy that I heard that got killed. So it's like I seen a ghost or whatever. Now, mind you, me and him used to mess around, you know, when I was like much younger, 19, 20, 21 maybe. I used to mess around with him, whatever. Now, fast forward you, I got a son now. I didn't have any kids when I met him, whatever. So, uh, I meet him, and I'm like, oh my, and back then we was like super cool or whatever. And so I ran into him or whatever, and then me and him started to date and stuff like that. And I let him move in, which was like the worst thing I could have done. I let him move in, and he just, it was like he was the devil himself, you know. Like, even though I know that he wasn't, but his the demons that he had on him was so strong, you know. I remember um I had went to my mom's house to pick him up, to pick up my son, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna let my mom meet him or whatever. And but I already knew in my gut that my mom was not gonna like him or whatever. So anyway, so we go. I had him drive my car, so I'm in the passenger seat. He's driving my car to my mom's house, whatever. So I got the car. I go inside. I go get my son. My mom is walking out with me and my son, and she stops at the gate. Now the gate is right here. The gate is right here. My car is parked like, you probably can't see because of the camera, but the car is parked down the street. She walks to the gate, and she's like, "What are you doing with him?" Just like that. What are you doing with him? She was like, "I could feel his demons." Just like that, you know. And I thought she was, you know, whatever. Um, so yeah, so after I let him move in, which is, don't never do. Let a guy move in that's not your husband. Don't let You shouldn't be living with a man that's not your husband. I'm gonna say that. So anyway, so I let him move in, whatever. Now, mind you, this is already after I didn't dedicated my life to Christ. Okay, this is well after that. This is like 2000 and, oh, what year was this? Like 15. I let this guy move in, man. And it was like all hell broke loose. It's like his demons jumped on my son, you know. And now my son is battling these demons, and it's causing my son. He's telling my son to do these outrageous things, and as a result of my sin, it affected my child. It affected my child so bad that he was in and out the mental hospital. And he was only in elementary school. And he was a kind of person, not my son, but the guy that I was dealing with. He was a kind of person that liked chaos. He did not like peace. If it's peace, he didn't like that. He liked the chaos. Like as long as it was chaotic, he was at peace. And it was kind of weird to me. And he would tell me stuff about his baby mama. And again, I'm not no fighter. I don't like beef. I'm not trying to beef with nobody or nothing like that. I just kind of like fall back from that. So he would tell me like, oh, she still want me. I guess he wanted me to be like, oh, I want to go fight her and stuff like that. But I never was that kind of person. So he would try to do that, but it would never go nowhere. So I could tell like low key he was mad about that. Then I had allowed my brothers to move in because something happened, whatever. My brother was living with me or whatever, and he didn't like that. He didn't want my brother living with me. It was like he was trying to isolate me from everybody. He was trying to turn me against my mom and everything like that. He was really trying to isolate me, because I really believe that eventually he would have tried to kill me or would have tried to he would have been abusive. I could it was leading up to that point, you know what I mean? Because one day my brother had did something. He wasn't cleaning up or something like that, or whatever. And he was mad and he was nitpicking with me all day about that. And I remember I was in the bathroom and the door had closed behind me a little bit. And he hit the door. Bam, was a big old hole in the door. My son wasn't there at the time. My son was with his godfather. So he hit the door. Bam. Was a big old hole in the door. So my son comes home because he's with his godfather, and he see the hole in the door, and he see me in the room crying. Now, mind you, before my son came, now he's like, okay, now you can see him at peace because it's like, okay, I didn't made something chaotic here happen, whatever. So I'm crying, I'm shooken up. Now he's like at peace, and he's like, "You thought I was gonna hit you?" Like now he's like, "You thought I was gonna hit you?" And I was just like, "Man, you just scared me when you hit the door, or whatever." So now my son comes in. He see me in the room, crying or whatever, and he sees the hole in the door. So my son, he's like, "Mommy, did he hit you? Did he hit you, mommy?" And I'm like, "No, he didn't hit me. He didn't hit me." I'm like, "Everything is okay." He's like, "Mommy, did he hit you?" So my son ran after him and was fighting him and was like, "Man, don't touch my mommy," and stuff like that, whatever. So he was really, really a really, really evil person, and I knew he had went to jail for attempted murder. He went to jail for attempted murder, and but he made it seem like he told me, he lied to me and told me that it was that he had tried to kill, that he tried to stab a guy or whatever. But I come to find out, fast forward, right? So the house is chaotic now because he's nitpicking with me about my brother and stuff like that. And then one day my brother he wakes up. Okay, so no, so now at this point now he's doing the trucking thing. So now he's gone on the road, learning about the trucking and stuff like that. So my brother wakes up one day and he's like, now mind you, before this, my mom was telling me like, man, you need to get rid of him. Like you need to get rid of him. Like he is not, he's bad news or whatever. And so now at this point, I'm shooken up. I'm scared. Because I'm seeing what he's doing, but I'm not knowing that he is the reason behind my son mental health is. I'm not. How can I say it? I didn't know that he was affecting my son the way that he was. So now at this point, my brother was like, Tony, I swear, now he ain't never talked like this. He's like, Tony, I swear to God, if that dude touch you, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him, Tony. I swear I'm gonna kill him. So I'm like, Richie, stop talking like that. Malik is here. I don't want Malik to hear that, whatever. He like, I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna kill that dude. He touch you, whatever, like that. So my mom, she happened to call. I'm telling her what's going on or whatever. And she was like, Tony, I'm telling you, you need to get rid of that dude because I had a dream that he stabbed everybody in the house, that he killed everybody in the house. Now, mind you, she don't even know. She gonna know now when she see this video. She don't even know that he had went to jail for stabbing someone, trying to kill him, or whatever, right? So, um, so I was like, okay, mom, well, what do I do? She's like, change the locks. So I change the locks. I go to Home Depot. I change the locks, whatever. Now, mind you, at this time, his daughter was coming to the house or whatever. So at this time now, his daughter is staying with me or whatever for a little bit, temporarily staying with me. And so I change the locks. I packed up all his stuff. I go to his mom house. I go to his mom house and tell her, like, look, I don't want to be with your son no more. Like, I can't do it. Like, he was a big liar. It was just so much stuff that he did that I'm not even talking about. But it was so much stuff that he did that I started losing weight. I was stressed and everything. So I call the mom and telling her like everything that's going on, and she's just like, "Oh, well, you should just, you know, basically like, 'cause she knew her son was trash and was horrible. That's why she was so busy trying to put him off on me. So she's like, "Well, how about this?" She was like, "Cause his son is here, and I don't want his son to see you bringing his stuff. So, um, how about this? You and him talk and work it out. Try to work it out, and then we're gonna go from there." And I'm thinking to myself, like, no, I'm not. I'm good. I'm telling you all the stuff that I'm, going through. I am cool. I don't want to be with him. And then I find out that he was the reason why my son was acting the way that he was acting, because he was telling my son to do all these crazy stuff. So my son was doing these crazy stuff, and they was admitting him to the mental health hospital. So I'm going. So when I find that out, I'm like, okay, yeah, he gotta go. So my mom's like, yeah, because she's like, I had a dream that he killed everybody in the house or whatever. So I'll change the locks or whatever. And his daughter. So I come back to the house. His daughter's there in my house or whatever, and she's on the phone with her mom. She's on the phone with her mom, and her mom was like, and this is when I still had social media. Was it? I think so. I think I still had social media at this time. So anyway, so she was like, "Yeah, I've been wanting to talk to you and stuff like that. I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time." She was like, to tell you that he is not um he's not a person that you should want to be with, whatever. So she started telling me like he was abusive to her, like he used to beat her. He beat her when she was pregnant, stuff like that, and all this stuff. And I'm just like, what? And then she told me about the person that he had, stabbed or whatever. And it wasn't even a guy. He lied and told me it was a guy, but it was his ex girlfriend. And she ended up later on, like she, was alive after the stabbings or whatever. But then later on down the road, she ended up passing away. And they think it was because of, you know, the stabbings that he had did to her, because he had stabbed her like 27 times. 27 times, yeah, he had stabbed his ex girlfriend or whatever. And so I'm just like, what? Because I had just came from his mom's house, so I had his stuff still in the box. I never put it inside the house. I put it behind my car. So now at this point, I'm like, oh no. So his daughter helped me take his stuff and put it to the front of the to the house. And then soon after that, people started coming, taking stuff out of the box or whatever, whatever. And so I was able to get out of that situation, because I remember I was praying to God before all of this, before my mom, reached out to me last time and said, you got he has to go because he's gonna, end up hurting you guys. I was praying to God, like, God, please get him away from get him out of this house. I don't want to be with him no more. Because now at this point, I'm just like, it's too much. It's too much I'm dealing with him. Like, and my, you know, yeah, it's just too much, and I just can't. I don't want to be in this situation anymore. So I'm praying to God, like, God, just get him out of my house. Get him out of my house. And I remember he said, no, you brought him there, you take him out, but I'll do the rest, like, I'll protect you, whatever. Because I remember after I put him out and stuff like that, and his daughter had called him and said, hey, your girl says she don't want to be with you no more and stuff like that. So I remember that night he called me all night long. I did not answer the phone. I would not answer the phone. I texted him and was like, look, I'm cool, this ain't going nowhere, God is not in this, I don't want to be with you, you know and I blocked him. And after that, God did protect me from him, because I remember I used to be scared to go to work. Like, when I leave to go to work in the morning time, I would have my brother, you know, watch me get in my car and leave, because I got scared of him or whatever. But he was another one that Satan used to try to take me out. But praise be to y'all, I listened. I finally listened, and got rid of him. And then I just constantly picking these bad dudes. Like that's saying you are who you attract. I definitely was attracting people that was broken like me. You know, and even though I was attracting I was broken, but I wasn't dangerous. You know what I'm saying? I was attracting the broken and dangerous type of guys. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's like it's a blessing that I'm still alive. Like because I could have been one of those domestic violence stories where, you know, my boyfriend killed me. And but it didn't. By the grace of God, it didn't happen. I'm still here. And I praise y'all for that. And it's like fact. So as time going along, because like I said, I never was like really interested in relationships, even though I was in some. That never was my goal, because I was just thinking like I'm just doing me. Like I'm gonna talk to who I want to talk to and deal with who I want to deal with, and no commitment, because I didn't think I was worthy of that anyway. So as y'all started working on me, and then another thing I forgot to say, the guys that I did end up being in a relationship, the foundation of it was not good at all. I used to think like, hey, if they're not good in the bedroom, I don't. We can't be. Ain't no relationship. And That's how I literally base all of my past relationships on them, on that. If that was good, then we can be in a relationship. I'm not looking at his character and and none of that's. Oh shoot. I'm not. I'm sorry, guys. My mom was calling me. Um. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I'm sorry about that delay. Um. But what I was saying. Yeah. So my foundation for all my past relationships was always if the man was good in the bedroom. I didn't care about his. I wasn't looking at his character. I was just trying to have my foundation. Uh. Hold on. Um. The foundation of all my relationships was based back then was based off of how good they was in the bed, and then everything else we can try to like I guess work it out or whatever. And you know and that's how I used to always think. And the turning point came one day when I was in my car and I was thinking about something. I was thinking about relationships. I don't know if I was talking to God, if I was praying to God or what, but I know I was thinking of relationships and how I was the kind of person like I need to test drive and make sure, you know, whatever. I want to test drive first, and then we can kind of go from there. And I remember y'all told me straight up. He said, "I created sex. I know what you like better than you know what you like." And I'm like, oh, like I never thought of it like that, because I don't know. I guess I thought y'all was a prude in that area, but he's the one that created it. So after that, my mind started my That's when y'all started working on my on my thoughts about you know about sex, you know. But at this point, I'm still not dealt with trauma. Like I'm still unhealed from trauma. I have not sought therapy or nothing like that, you know. And I'm doing things I don't understand why I'm doing still. So even after I'm a Christian, I'm still doing things I don't understand why I'm doing, but it's because of trauma that I experienced, you know, from a child growing on, you know, all the way up or whatever. So I so when God told me that, I was just like, wow, like I never looked at it like that. So that's when the turning point started from there. But was I still fornicating and doing all that stuff? Yeah, I was. Because again, I'm not healed from, you know, the trauma that I experienced when I was a toddler when I got molested. So I still, you know, I'm still thinking sexual, but it's just like, okay, now the light bulb is, things are starting to take a turning point slowly to have to redirect my mind. Yeah, I'll say that. Because my mind was always, it was shaped. It was already shaped from trauma, you know? So y'all had to really like clean out my mind and change my thoughts, my way of thinking and stuff like that. And so I just picked all these guys like based off of trauma, you know? And eventually when y'all started working on me and started like really, you know, taking the time to reveal stuff to me and clean me out, now I'm craving relationship, right? I want to be in a relationship. I want to be with somebody that yeah, I want to be in a relationship. I want somebody like this my girl, this, you know what I'm saying? So at this point, I'm operating off, let me see. I'm operating in desperation at this point. Not desperate for a man per se, but desperate for love from a man. I'll say that, you know. Because I didn't, as I got older, I didn't have a problem with, you know, getting men or nothing like that, you know. Not and like again, I was just like a tramp, a prostitute. So these guys was looking at me, you know, they only seen one thing anyway, you know what I mean? Because again, I didn't think I was pretty. I didn't think I was attractive enough in the face just to attract a guy just with my looks. And then I'm like super skinny, so I'm thinking I gotta show skin for to even be looked at. You know what I mean? And that's what I did, and I just attracted all these wrong guys, man. These guys that didn't care, they didn't care nothing about me, you know, and really had um dangerous motives, you know, like trying to use me, you know, and they knew I didn't love myself. They knew I didn't have no self worth. They knew, you know, like, but I would love on them so hard, but I couldn't even love myself, and they would just use that against me, you know, just, and that's all I ever dealt with was just, you know, guys taking advantage of me and stuff like that. And so now around this time, so like I said, once guys told me that, now I'm craving relationship. Now I want to be with somebody and stuff like that. So fast forward, I meet this guy at like a training that I was doing for my job, and he asked for my number, whatever. He was younger than me. I wasn't. I never did like guys younger than me, whatever. So whatever. So he asked for my number, whatever. But we ended up being cool. I never did like him like that. But he would always tell me like, man, and told me like your worth's like, he would just start telling me about my worth and what kind of woman that I was, and but I couldn't see it. Like I couldn't see it, you know. And one day, I don't know, he was at my house, and I'm just looking at him, and then all of a sudden, like I started developing feelings for him, you know. And so now he's coming to my, and now mind you, at this time I didn't even know that he had that he was in a relationship or whatever. And but he would come to my house, stuff like that. So long story short, me and him ended up getting engaged. You know what I'm saying? And basically, he just used me to get away from the girl that he was with at the time. It wasn't really like, you know what I mean? And I'm so stuck on stupid that, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm operating in desperation, you know? So we got engaged. on Valentine's Day or something like that, and I'm thinking we about to get married and all that stuff. But he basically he was telling me like, you know, I basically pressured him into doing that, because now this time I'm really trying to not have sex outside of marriage. I'm trying to really do it the right way, but again, I still got this unhealed trauma that I'm struggling. And I'm thinking that me and him on one accord, because he's saying that he believes in God and he goes to church and all this and that. I'm thinking that, okay, well, you should understand that sex outside of marriage is a sin. Like, you want to inherit the kingdom of God if you operating like that. But anyway, that fell apart. It wasn't even what I thought it was, because I was operating out of desperation, desperate for a man to love me. And I have to learn to love myself first. And God, I mean, that's where the daddy issues kicked in. Because if my dad would have been in my life and showing me the love that I needed, then I wouldn't have, you know, I wouldn't have been like that. And so I just, so another story. This is basically stories of guys that I dealt with being unhealed from trauma. So this is when uh um how can I say this? This is when things see, y'all had a plan this whole time for me to get to this point to where I'm at today. And so it was this guy that I was dealing with. I ain't gonna give too much, because some people may know who I'm talking about or not, but I'm not gonna give too much detail or whatever. It was this guy that I was dealing with for a couple of years. And we had first time we had went out, whatever. And I just, yeah, so I'm thinking like, okay, I'm thinking that he wants relationship. I'm believing stuff that he's saying and stuff like that. So I'm not letting the guy, um how I want to say it. I'm not I'm not making sure what he's saying is the truth. I'm just believing what he's saying, and just hopping forth in it, whatever. So anyway, so I mean, we had went out, whatever, and then he was trying to, sleep with me then, but I was like, nah, I ran from it, like, nah, I can't do it. And I remember one time I was on my way home from work, and I was crying to God, because I knew that, because at this time I was abstinent for like 3 years, trying to really do it the way y'all want me to do it, as far as like, not sex outside of marriage. So I um I remember coming home one day, and I started crying because I knew that I was gonna break it. I was gonna break my abstinence with this guy. And it was like I couldn't help myself. It's like I was crying, and then I remember this verse that your steps are ordered by the Lord. And so, um, me and him started messing around for like 2 years. Yeah, 2 years, right? And at this point, I'm unhappy because he's just, I felt like he knew that I wanted him. I really wanted to be with him. And he used that to his advantage. I guess I made him feel like I'm that guy. I boosted his ego. That's what I did. I boosted his ego, and I made him feel like he's that guy. So therefore, he used that against me. He used that as leverage against me, and he would say things and treat me in ways that was just like, man, I could just do what I wanted to do, because you ain't gonna go nowhere because you stuck. That was the attitude that he had. You know what I'm saying? And again, no, my I don't have no self worth. I don't have no self love. I don't have none of that. So, and soul ties is real. So I'm, so tied to him, because we haven't, what I'm saying, we having sex and all that stuff. I can't break free. I don't love myself enough to break free. And something happened. Something happened at At my job again, I said I can't tell you guys because I'm still working for the company, so I'm not gonna speak on it. But something happened, and he y'all use that situation for me to realize a lot of things that I was praying to him about, things that I was praying to y'all about that I didn't understand why I was doing or why I would say things or why I'm so overtly sexual. I didn't understand why, and I would ask God like, God, why do I just say that to this guy? Why do I act like this? And he used that situation to, I don't want to say, well, it broke me to my core. Again, I was sweeping things under the rug. I never faced trauma. I didn't want to face my issues, nothing like that. So again, the stuff that I was sweeping under the rug was so high, it was right here. And at this point, it's like, okay, Antonia, you can't keep going on like this, whatever. So I ended up getting therapy, and for my low self esteem, and the thoughts that I had towards myself, and the change just started falling off. And once y'all set me free from that, it was like, wow. So I stopped. I cut everything off with the guy. Cut it off. And I'm like, nah, I can't continue on with him. Like, and I cut it off with him, and y'all literally set me free from my trauma, my undealt trauma that I'm healed from. Do I still have my struggles? Absolutely, I do, but I know how to overcome them much better because of I recognize where it stems from, and I recognize what Satan is trying to do. So at the end of the day, it's not worth it to me. But we're gonna talk about that because I'm gonna talk about um, struggles and how to overcome them. You know what I mean? But so yeah, so he set me free from that. And I had shortly after that, after I was set free, I met a guy that I was in a relationship that we I broke it off in July. Broke it off, and I let him, we was living together. I let him move in and stuff like that, and that's the whole reason why it took so long for my book to come out, because I was like, okay, I can't have a book come out talking about God and I'm living like this. Like this, I can't be a hypocrite or a stumbling block to nobody. So once I dismantled that situation, and even though the guy is not a bad guy, like we're friends, you know what I mean? But it just it just wasn't right. And now I have my self worth, my self love, and I look at I look at men and relationships totally different than how I used to through my broken lens. Um, I know the kind of guy that I need and want. Now, am I going to tell the guy? Am I going to tell a guy that? No, I know it when I see it. Because I remember a guy asked me recently, what type of man are you looking for? And I was like, I don't know him when I see him. I'm not going to tell you. So, because anybody can become what you tell them that you want. Anybody can become that. If that's not you, then it's not you. So I'm not gonna tell you. I'm just gonna conversate with you, whatever, see where your head is at, and then I know from there. And 53 minutes, man. I've been on this thing for a long time. But yeah, so those are the guys I've dealt with that I had more guys, but I'm not. It's this video. This is already too long. But just know that I just picked toxic men because I myself was toxic to myself. So I didn't know how to choose the right type of man, and I want to encourage people to, man, get the help that you need for yourself. So you ain't gotta be settling for people, men or women. You ain't gotta be settling for people that's not good for you. You really have to love yourself. You have to if you have undealt trauma, man, get therapy. And I don't know why so many people are against therapy, but therapy is good for you. If you get the right therapist for you, you have to do your homework. You have to find the therapist that fits your personality. Not every therapist is for everybody. So I'm glad y'all healed me from that. I'm glad God He protected me from those toxic men that eventually was going to do me harm or try to do me harm. God saved me from that. And some people don't get so don't get through that, they end up dying. Because like I said, I watched a lot of crime documentaries, and a lot of it be domestic, and I just thank God that He delivered me from everything that He delivered me from, because it was a rough ride getting here. I wouldn't if somebody would have told me this, if somebody would have told me that I would be this person today in 2023, I wouldn't believe it. That's how bad my mindset was towards myself. Like I looked at myself and just picked myself apart. Just everything about me was just, to me, was ugly, and I couldn't see the beauty in nothing of me, And I also want to say this, like, if you professing to be a Christian and stuff like that, you shouldn't you shouldn't live with a man that's not your husband, And I've done that too many times. I've lived with a man that's not my husband too many times, And I didn't even mention my ex husband in this live, because he's going through what he's going through right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we was two broken people together. We should have never been together, to be honest with you. And again, the foundation of that relationship for me was, sex. I wasn't looking through it. I was not looking. All the red flags I ignored, basically. Even though they was waving red on fire in my face, I ignored it. You know what I mean? Because I just, again, when you have trauma, your life, the view of life is distorted. You don't see things correctly because of how your mental is, how you think of yourself and the world and of other people. So I hope this live was enjoyable. I felt like I was kind of like all over the place, but it was just more so telling you stories of the kind of guys that I dealt with. Um, I may make this a part two. I don't know. We'll see. However y'all leads me, that's where I'm going. So again, have a lot of things to talk about, to share with you guys, and I just want to see people delivered and free from trauma. That's that's what my goal. That's what I'm on here for, is to tell people, like, man, you can be free from this. You don't have to endure in trauma. You don't have to be a victim all your life, man. You can be free from this. Is it an easy thing to do? No, it's not. You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna have to relive some of those things? Yes, you are. In order to be free. And me doing these lives and stuff like that and talking about these certain situations, I'm reliving this stuff all over again. And these stories are embarrassing. Don't think that I'm getting joy out of saying the things that I did. It's embarrassing, you know. Me liking dudes with their pants to their ankles, like, that's embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like, but with y'all, all things are possible, man. If you just trust in Him, I know it's, for some people, it's not easy to believe in something you can't see, but y'all, is totally real. He's totally real. If you would, pray to Him, just you and Him, and ask Him to reveal Himself for Him to reveal Himself to you, He will. You know, but you got to have an open heart. You got to have an open mind to Him. Because He don't force Himself on none of us. But I hope this was enjoyable for you guys, and hope you guys have a blessed rest of your Sabbath, because this is the Holy Sabbath. So yeah. Oh yeah. This is just like what I like to end with. So Matthew 22:4 says, "Many are called, but few are chosen. Be blessed."